This is the WYDE Weekly for June 27, 2026. The money moved this week. Big tech's biggest names poured more than $1.5 billion into health and giving, from a $500 million fund to end respiratory viruses, to $550 million in erased medical debt. The same week, 2 studies asked whether the technology behind all of it is ready. We sorted the week by what matters, mission first. First, the build, what shipped on our side. We rebuilt the docs into the WYDE hub, one onboarding home for the whole platform, built around a single idea, cause coins, with EAT, ending hunger, as the first. The EAT card moved deeper into beta, and we opened the list to new cardholders ahead of the public launch. It is a Visa debit card, FDIC insured, no crypto knowledge needed, and every swipe feeds the mission. And we went on the record twice with crypto altruists, on the impact exchange and contributory consumption, and with the revolution, on where this goes next. Now to the news, and we lead with philanthropy and health. The biggest story is a new fund called Intercept, which pulled in $500 million from Stripe, Anthropic, OpenAI, Jane Street, the Flu Lab, and Bill Gates, to wipe out respiratory viruses with far UVC light, cleaner air, and broad-spectrum preventatives. The money is pointed at exactly the kind of problem we built WYDE to fund. Right behind it, Snap's founder Evan Spiegel and Miranda Kerr put up $550 million to cancel medical debt for 261,000 Californians, working with Undo Medical Debt, which buys the debt for pennies on the dollar. One gift, and 250,000 people are clear. There was more. A $500 million coalition with Gates, Save the Children, and UNICEF formed to treat child malnutrition in crisis zones, targeting 5 million kids. Anthropic launched Claude Core, which will pay 1,000 AI fellows to work inside nonprofits. United States charitable giving hit a record $617 billion in 2025 as mega gifts surged. And we explained the contested study at the center of the U.S. aid cuts death toll fight. On hunger, the gap got wider. With school out, 10.1 million kids in the 13 states that opted out of summer EBT are missing an estimated $1.2 billion in food help, right as cafeterias close for the summer. This is the gap we work in. The United States also pledged more than $800 million to the World Food Program, partly reversing last year's aid cuts, and it lands as a record 318 million people face crisis hunger. The need is rising faster than the funding. A federal judge struck down the USDA's SNAP food restrictions in 5 states. Food banks lost federal truckloads as demand set new records. The Senate Farm Bill keeps shifting SNAP costs to states, with 4 million people set to lose benefits. Global hunger funding fell 59% as the UN named 13 hotspots near famine. And the FAO and the WFP added Nigeria and Somalia to the 2026 famine risk list. Then the tech got graded, and it struggled. An audit of 2.5 million papers found fabricated citations jumped 14 times, climbing from 4 to 57 per 10,000 after mid-2024, right as AI writing tools went mainstream. Trust is the thing breaking here, and it is the hardest thing to rebuild. Progress was real, too. A small team at Aleph captured the first super-resolution ultrasound images of blood flow inside a living human brain through an intact skull, a step toward cheap, fast imaging that could reach far more people than an MRI. Nature Medicine found frontier AI models still are not clinically ready, though critics note it tested older models, a fair point worth weighing. Cadence raised $100 million to scale AI chronic care for older adults. The Data Foundation launched to put cryptographic receipts on AI training data. And it is worth revisiting Midjourney's body scanner, which it says beats the MRI on cost and speed. In institutional crypto, the rails kept going in. The loudest signal came from Roubini, the original Dr. Doom, who is putting his NASDAQ-listed Atlas America fund on chain as something he calls the techno-dollar. When the loudest skeptic crosses over, the argument is mostly over. Around him, Chainlink and more than 50 banks launched Project Pangea for instant cross-border settlement, linking more than 50 institutions for real-time settlement. The rails the Impact Exchange runs on are quietly becoming the rails everyone runs on. Uniswap and Spark stood up a $150 million stablecoin foreign exchange layer. Ripple's stablecoin, RLUSD, went live in Japan after regulatory approval. Kalshi chased a $40 billion valuation, widening its lead over Polymarket. Anchorage launched tokenized deposit rails to bring banks on chain for 24/7 settlement. The New York Stock Exchange owner, IC, and the crypto exchange OKX launched a joint venture to tokenize stocks and futures. And Toss Bank and the Solana Foundation signed a memorandum of understanding to test stablecoin remittances. On fraud and accountability, the people watching the money stayed busy. The DOJ seized the cloud account behind billions in crypto laundering, taking Hayoni Group's infrastructure into federal hands. The fix was the same one we build around: follow the chain, and the money has nowhere to hide. The DOJ also charged 455 people in a record $6.5 billion healthcare fraud takedown, the largest such action on record, and most of it traces back through the paper trail. The Treasury sanctioned a crypto network used to finance ISIS, traced on-chain, then cut off at the source. Tactile raised $110 million to automate bank fraud detection and lending. Voyager investors took the Mark Cuban case to a federal appeals court. The FBI caught a $1.2 billion Medicare fraud fugitive off its new most wanted list. And Pump.Fund's parent, Batten, offered up to $5 million for a chief legal officer while fighting a securities and racketeering suit. In policy, markets, and creators, Meta is building a prediction markets app called Arena to rival Polymarket and Kalshi. When the biggest platforms start building on chain-style markets, the fringe becomes the mainstream. Creators are becoming a real fundraising engine for nonprofits, with 61% of Gen Z giving more when a creator asks, which is the exact bet behind our creator program. Congress sent the Fed's central bank digital currency ban to Trump's desk, then the signing stalled over the SAVE Act. An anti-trafficking group challenged the Clarity Act's decentralized finance provision. The House set a July 17 Clarity Act field hearing in New York. Stablecoin issuers face bank-style oversight as the Genius Act rules near a July 18 deadline. A global tech sell-off pulled SpaceX below its initial public offering price and dragged crypto down with it. And Coinbase's base shipped its barrel upgrade and a native B20 token standard. Here are the EAT numbers. Meals funded, 58,300, against the next milestone of 100,000. That is the number we actually measure, and it only moves one direction. The price was a fraction of a cent, with a market cap near $1.8 million, as of our last published figures on June 19th. Crypto had a rough week, and EAT moved with it. If you want in, we are accepting new cardholders into the EAT card beta right now, ahead of the public launch. It is a Visa debit card, FDIC insured, and every swipe feeds the mission. You can also create on verified results through our creator program, or bring a business to the cause card. We came to end hunger. This was the week the money started moving our way. Now we prove it reaches the ground. Worth watching. Onward. The WYDE team.